Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to show you how AtomicDB implements associative information technology. What is important to remember here is that this is persistent database technology. This is not an in-memory system such as Tableau or ClickView or something of that nature. It is persistent and to disk. That being said, we're going to move ahead. Top right corner, I'll draw your attention. We'll have 5 CSV files or text files. We'll be grabbing them and incorporating them into one source along with the database and the Access database, along with a file or tables from the AdventureWorks Microsoft SQL database. To get started, we simply log in. Press login. There we go. Now we're going to move straight forward. As you can see, this is our new interface, and I'll show you the old one as well. We'll move straight to loading the data. That will basically be a source. We can grab files all in order, and if we use a control key, we're able to also grab database technology or, of course, Excel, triples, and text. We will now have selected these files and we will import them. And as you can see, they came in parallel. And we are simply going to create a new model called project. Now, the model has been created. We're going to move over to the Infosys area, or our filtering area, or what normal people would call a query area. But much like Excel, AtomicDB and Associative technology live in a filtering process versus a querying process. Considerably faster, several magnitudes easier, and far more simple to work with. So in this case, we'll grab the country as a filter. We'll simply grab all the countries, add them, and process them. As you can see, there's a return of 45 records. Record code in different groups. Once we've filtered out the record sets that we wish, we simply move to our visualize area. You'll see that we're in multi-grid mode, which means we are going through the individual resources or the individual record sets, so you can go through them. If you wish to see an aggregated set, that can be done as well. In this case, this is all 5 files completely aggregated. We can, of course, select different targets by clearing all and select which targets are of interest, submit those changes, and, of course, export that result set. That being said, we're going to clear all, submit change, nope, clear all. Yes, submit change, good. So that being said, you'll notice at the top here we have count, standard deviation, min, max, sum, average. Okay, these are basically completely customizable. You can put as many values here as you wish, and it's designed for numeric properties. So for example, if we took price and we wanted to know, we right click on there, you'll see count, number of records, standard deviation, min, max, and any other aggregated or calculation you want can be posted here simply by clicking on the event. Having done so, we now move into your ability to analyze your data from an architectural perspective and how the data actually correlates through a graph interface. And as you can see, it redesigns itself into a readable format, but you can also basically investigate, and it will redesign the graph and give you the result sets even from here. Alright? Now, going back, let's go back to Infosys. We'll try, and again, just as a reiteration, if I wanted to, I could have selected both and simply said, give me all the countries. And in the second record set, I simply said, give me Hong Kong, no, Seoul, no, Tokyo, and I could have added that, and that would process a separate set of records. And so it is not limited to a single filter process, if you will. It's entirely up to whoever desires. Going back to our visualization area, we have, as you can see, has reconstructed itself. We can drill down at will. We also have the chart builder capabilities. You'll see that there are about 12 standard industry standard charts here. Pie chart has an example. If I grab the city and we move ahead with that, you'll see the result sets there. We can load the mapper and change, let's say, to a tree graph and move to salesperson, product name, quantity, let's do quantity, and we submit and we wind up with a cheat chart. And of course all the data is there, and this is also going to be interactive. Now moving forward from here, we are moving into a lists area. Now this still is incomplete, but we're in the process of managing our data with our old interface. This interface will be placed in this area that you see here. So that essentially will become this as soon as we're finished integrating it. But as you can see, it's exactly the same thing. Project, there's our model, concepts. That allows us, or anyone, the ability to now start investigating their data, either individually or aggregated in any shape, manner, or form. Now aside from this, when we move back to our model area, we have the ability to add different data sources. As I mentioned, we've added combined 5 files. We will now combine and add an access database. Now the interesting thing here, this is not an ODBC connection, this is an API connection directly into the metadata of the database in question, whether it's Oracle, Microsoft, or any other. It takes a few minutes longer depending on the size of the database, but that allows us the ability to basically select everything, including system files. So in our case, we can grab here the either everything, in which case the system will assimilate everything, the invoices, and order details, orders, and that's fine. Now that'll take about 10 seconds, and that will become a source into my destination area. This is the destination databases on the right. The source files that we're looking for are on the left. So it could be all 18 tables, or it could be just the ones you want. Now you'll notice that we can simply match, case insensitive. So you'll see city and city is now part of the same collection, data warehousing essentially. The remainder we wish to add to the system, we can, and of course we import that data as well. Continuing that process, you'll see that we continue to add columns that are not part of the system as yet, will be now. So you have an unlimited source of, okay, we did, yeah, oh, we have to import, and yes, I am importing. I am not simply connecting to the database. I am literally importing the data from these sources into one and building a data warehouse for you on the fly. And all of it, as you can see, is now available. We move to the concepts area and we close, and we now see that the data is available everywhere. So regardless of what you're looking for, if there's a result set to be had, you will know. Not only will you know what you're looking for, but you'll also find things that you're not looking for. A particularly effective tool, I would say. Moving ahead, data cleansing is one of the biggest problems in the industry today. So for example, if I took product description, let's say here, okay, and we have, for example, WO1 and WO2. WO1 returns these 3 record sets, and WO2 returns 2 different record sets, But WO2 is an error. Row 2 should not be row 2, it should be row 1. And we'll be now allowed to merge these records into one record set. So when we move back to row 1, we've now aggregated the system, the 6 records into one point of reference. What's of particular interest is anyone can now build a model of any kind on the fly, leaving out information that could be considered crucial or critical. So PPI issues are no longer an issue. So if I wish to add the city to my model, country, customer name, phone number, order ID, let's go to product name, product description, price. From that model, I can now basically investigate what's important to me. And of course, we can export that as well, as we showed earlier. Aside from this, this ability, as you can see here, will also be part of this phase that you see here. Now, as I promised you, we also will go back and we add SQL Server as well. There's my SQL guy. And as you can see, I now have access to the SQL Server. So I can grab the person database, person password, and we'll go with that. That actually now is part of my model sets. And if I want to go back now to my project model, originally, I can simply map addresses. I can do the matching again as I did before. And you'll see city did add to city, employee ID did add to ID. Now we have a problem that occurred here. Alright, well, so you'll notice it's ID and ID. Well, there is no ID, so if we identify that the color scheme, we're very clear that ID here is actually order details ID, and there is no order details ID, so we're simply going to rename it. Now this one is also an ID, and he happens to be an employee ID. We do have an employee ID up here, and we simply move him there while removing him here. So that allows us to organize our data correctly in any way that we need, in any form that we need. That's all for now, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a simple understanding. There's considerably more to show you, but I don't have enough time. Thank you.